many times. All right, so we're at the 27th, so we meet, you know, Monday and Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, and then the test is the 15th. So that means we have 6 more meetings, and then we will have just 4 meetings after the AP. Okay, so that's the schedule of things. After the AP, we're just going to talk a little bit more about recursion and polymorphism and wrap things up, maybe have a fun day or 2 or something. I don't know how this will all shake out, but up until the 15th, we should be working pretty hard getting ourselves ready for it. And I think most of you guys are in good shape. Oh, all right. Let's talk about the test. Or let's talk about, sorry, where's the website? There it is. So a couple things to note. I'm pretty sure you've seen the email on grading policy. So I'm supposed to put a grade in now about Q3. Some of you, and I know that's kind of come as news, you know, that wasn't always the plan, that, you know, so that grade will be on the transcript. I'll try to make that reasonable and impact what you've done in Q4. And then Q4 is just going to be a pass. It's considered pass, not enough evidence. So for Q4. So that's how all your classes will be. So Q3 will affect the GPA, Q4 will not. If that makes sense. And you'll get 1 credit for each quarter. So yeah, and by the end of today, I'm supposed to have a weekly. I really should have had it up already. So this link, which I will send out in a little bit, is what you need to have for each day. It will look something like, where is it? And it'll tell you like what we're doing each week for the next 5 weeks. And sorry, I thought I had it up. Oh boy. Sorry. It'll have what's expected each day, and then have like a minimum requirement. So it's like, this is what you need to do as a basic. I will send that out. It seems like Remind is a good way. I can tell you guys are reading them. So I will send it out through Remind. And all your classes will have that. I'm sorry I don't have it done yet. I'm just trying to figure out all 5 weeks. I will have it by the end of today. But you guys are doing fine keeping up with things, I think. So I'll have that for you soon. Let's see here. Okay. So over the next 6 classes, we're gonna, I thought just to warm up, we would talk about recursion just because it's so cool, and we'll have a little time after the AP. And then we do a Kahoot, and then I'd either give you time to do the free response or not. I think it's the plan. Okay. So let's do one. If you recall, if you were with us on the Thursday before break, we talked a bit about recursion. And recursion, the whole idea, let's pull one up here in the coding bat. Oh, I'm really all over the place. So we looked at something like Fibonacci, or I guess a better example, the basic example is factorial, where if we had, 10 factorial, it's the same thing as 10 times 9 factorial. Well, 9 factorial is 9 times 8 factorial, and so on, up until a base case. Remember this? So we said our base case might be if n gets to be 1, well, we would just return 1. Else, I guess I should have this on its own line. Else, we return whatever the number is, 10 times, we're calling ourself, which is really a neat thing. And this would not be that hard to write with a for loop. So it's almost like, okay, it's cool, but let's see it where it's useful. I thought we would just warm up by doing a kind of a mind-blowing one here. Oops. Let's read this one together. So, give an array of ints, so they give us an array. Is it possible to choose a group of some of the ints such that the group sums to the given target? Okay, so they might give us this array, 2, 4, 8, and say, can you make the number 10? all right? Well, can you make the number 10 from using any of the numbers 2, 4, and 8? Someone in the forum, tell me if you can do it. And how? How, Arias? Of course, 8 plus 2 is 10. So that's what I mean. That's why I return true, because we can do it. But 2, 4, and 8, you can't do. You can't make, you can't make 9 from those 3 numbers. You can try all day long if you like. Okay, so this could be done with loops, but it'd be like really hard. It'd actually be really hard. If you think about it, like, so for every number, you either use the number or you don't. Right? Does that make sense? So for 2, 4, and 8, you use the 2, you didn't use the 4, you used the 8. And that got you to 10. So we're gonna work on this with recursion, just to get us going today, just get a little programming, because it's been a while for us. So they give us a little hint. In this recursion, they're gonna tell us the starting index. Okay, starting at index 0, meaning right at the beginning, can you get to this target? That's our target, using the nums. All right. So, and there are ways to do it without a starting number, but it makes your life just a little easier. Okay. So if the target is 0, well, we can always make 0, right? So I'm going to say if target is 0, I have my base, one of my base cases, return true, because that's all good. But if my target is 0, well, then I can make 0 just by using nothing. I think that's fair. My other base case is if my start is after, if I've used all the numbers up. If that makes sense. So if start is, if I used all the numbers up, how do I know I used all the numbers up? What would I put here? So if start equals, someone in the forum, in the chat. Anyone see where I'm going with this? I'll leave that blank for now. So I have another base case statement. As I was saying before, we either use the number or we don't, right? So if we use the 2, what is our new target? If we say our target was 10 in this line, and we use the 2, what's our new target?
8.
Yeah. So our new target would be 8. So here we go. We either we use the number at start or we don't. So if we use the number, then our new target is what it was minus whatever number is at start. That's our new target. And then we're going to call ourself. So the whole idea of recursion is, let's call ourself. This might blow your mind a little bit. I know maybe this was a bad idea to start with. I'm going to move start along. So now start is not 0, but it's 1. So I'll look at this one. So moving it along, the same array. Now our target is going to be a little less. And that's going to give us true or false. I'll call it Boolean using it. And that's going to give us true or false. Another Boolean is not using it. And that's going to be much the same. What's the only difference in this? If we don't use it, what's the only difference in this line going to be? What's the only difference in that line? we don't use it. I don't know why I'm working on this spacing so hard. Well, target does not change. Target's the same. Okay. So using it or not using it. If we use it, our target's gone down. Otherwise, we didn't, and we still see if we can hit the target without using that number. Right? And we want to keep doing this as long as what? As long as start is still in here, right? If start gets to this, so if start gets to the end, well, we know we didn't find it, right? So if start equals nums.length, well, return false because we didn't find it. So if start is 3, we're out, right? And then we use it. Otherwise, we use it or we don't use it. And then we're just going to return using it or not using it. I feel like I've blown your mind too much. And that's the idea. Kind of cool. So recursion is just, it can be real tricky, but either we use the number or we didn't. And I called ourselves twice, right? I called group sum once with using it, and then I called it again without using it and saying, can we ever get to the target? If we got it this way or this way, we're all good. We made the target. That's the idea here. So if our target now is 0, meaning we've hit our target, we return true. If we've gotten to the end, we return false. All right, not on the AP, so I don't want to spend too much time. I thought it'd be a fun way to start off, and maybe I was wrong. Any questions about this before I move on? Any questions? Yeah, it's an advanced topic. I said it's not going to be on the AP this year, but normally it is, and it's just very powerful if you can get your mind around it. Okay, let's do a Kahoot just to get us going here. Whatever. So please join our little Kahoot. Three of you. Not an easy one. Good questions. The challenges here. You do see it, right? There we go, Arius. Thank you. Ready? All right, let's start it off. A lot of time. Take your time, think it through. One of us got it. Let's look at it here real quick. So k starts at the length minus 1. Whenever you see that, you should think, all right, that the length would be how many there are, but length minus 1 is actually the end, right? The last character, the last index. And so you don't get tricked up. Notice k equals k minus 2, so it's going 2 earlier each time. Okay, so it does 9, and then it does 3, and then 7, and then 8. Every time it's adding it to x. So it's adding up 9, 3, 7, 8 all together, and a little bit of math in your head, yeah. Oh. Oh, good. Oh, you got it. Nice job. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is one of the nasty ones. Remember, it does order of operations. Does ants plus the 3, right? That happens first because that's the first plus. So it does ants 3, and then that's a string now. Like it converts when you have a string plus an int. It makes it all a string, and then we add 5.7 to it. So it's going to add 5.7 at the end of that string. So it's ants 35.7. Really goofy looking. Nicely done. Good. Error, because we can't subtract something from a string. There's parentheses, and we'd be all set. Hard question. Nice, 2 out of 3, yeah. So looking at it, we see our for loop, and so if it goes in 6, k starts off at 1, well, k is less than or equal to 6, k plus plus. So everybody say, hey, it's going to be doing this 6 times, and every single time it's going to add a number. So it's going to there has to be 6 numbers in the end, so we know it's going to be A or B. And then if we think of the first one, k is 1, so it's going to add 1 times 6 minus 1, so 1 times 5 is 5. So the first number is 5, and we can tell it by that. It's going to be that yellow one. Uh-oh. Yeah, so I put this in your, on the last test. So largest. You never want to start largest off. So I know a lot of you think, all right, let me start the largest off with something really small, and then anything above it will reset it. So that which is good logic. But setting it off at 0 is not good, because if every value is negative, well, 0, it's going to say the largest is 0, even though that's not true. 0 wasn't in the array, right? So there's 2 solutions to that. So there's 2 solutions. We can say largest equals array 0, right? The 0 element. So I'm just going to set largest equal to the first thing in the array. And then if anything is bigger than largest, right? If array I is bigger than largest equals array I. So very common logic. Another way of doing it, guys, is this. We could say int largest equals integer dot min value. So min value is the lowest thing an integer could be. So this would be safe too. But putting it at 0 is not a safe thing. Unless you know, like if we're talking about, if this is about test scores, SAT scores, if we know that's true, that we're not going to have negatives, then you'd be fine doing that. Okay. Same thing with max. A better idea is to set it as to the 0 element, or set it to something really, 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 really high, like integer.max value. So at this point in time, or sorry, so when this happens, largest is not the largest in the whole thing. It's just the largest in what we've gone through so far. So largest is the greatest value in the array up until whatever I is. So if I is 15, well, it's the greatest value up to 15. We haven't looked through everything. That's what they're trying to go with. Uh-oh. Let's think through the logic here. So I starts off at 1, and it's going to go up 3 each time as long as I is less than the length. Okay. And it says result plus, so results blank plus whatever this gives us. So substring 1 to 2. So it gives us the H. So we got the H. And then I becomes 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It gives us from the 4th to the 5th character, so it gives us the K. So we have HK. It was 4, now it is 7. I is 7. So then it says, give me a substring from 7 to 8, which is the G. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From the 7th character to the 8th, that's fine. That's not an index out of bounds. So it gives us HKJ. Then I becomes 10. It's no longer less than the length. It is done. Maybe we stop after this one. Let's move on. Nice job, one person. Let's think about it together. So looking at this, it's going up to, but we should notice it doesn't go to the last number. It's going to the length -1, and I is less than, so it's going to stop at the 0. Every single time, it's going to check itself. If it's less than the one that comes after it, it prints out the index and then its value. All right, so is 8 less than 6? No. Moves on. Is 6 less than 7? Yes. So it prints its index 1, And it also prints the value there, 6. So it prints 1, 6. 7 less than 5, no. Is 5 less than 3, no. Is 3 less than 0, no. Is 0 less than 9, yes. So it prints out, hey, I'm index 5 and my value is 0. That's it. Very nice. All right, let's see our game board here. Oh, I hope you all made it to the game top of the leaderboard. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, who's it gonna be? Hey, yay, nice job. Oh, that was exciting. Look at those names go. I know you're shaking your head right now. Gianni, I can see you. Your head's bobbing. May, you can bob, it's okay. Well, that was fun. I knew it, Gianni. All right, here's what I wanted to do. The rest of class, that's the wrong class. Here we go. I put on one free response just to keep us active. Every class we'll probably do, a couple more of these. And anyone who's advanced and wants to keep trying and playing around with recursion, please do that. I see what you do. I'd like to see. That's not required. This is what's required. This is advanced. If you'd like to work with me now, I'll stay on the line and do it. Work with you. You can pull up that document. Otherwise, email it to me or put it in the shared thing. Who wants to work with me? Gianni, you want to work with me? Oh, fantastic. So Gianni, open up that document I shared with you. How about May, Arias? You guys good? Do you want to work on, you can work on this or you can work on the recursion activities? What would you like to do, May? I'm not, you're not required to stay with me. I'm not supposed to keep you any longer than this. So do you want to stay, May, and work on one of those two things? Or do you want to work on your own time? Same. Okay. And Arias, yeah, try doing it on your own. Get back to me. And same thing with May. You can stick around or not. Gianni, you still haven't finished the test, have you? Do you want to work with me? Let's see. So we have the next few days that we're not meeting. So will you have time to work tomorrow as well? Let's plan on meeting at, I don't know, what's good for you tomorrow? I'm pretty flexible. What works for you? Give me a time, Gianni, and I'll be there. We can work together. Three sounds good. All right, but I want to work on this free response now, and we'll work on the test tomorrow. May, Arias, anyone wants to, you can stay with us. All right, here it is, fuel filler. Here it is. All right. And you're not going to see something exactly like this because it has this word interface. Don't worry about that. So just pretend like it says class here. Oh, is this going to be too confusing? Let me see. No, it's just like class. So there's a class fuel tank that has a method get fuel level. Okay. And all right, a fuel depot has a number of fuel tanks arranged in a line and a robot that moves a filling mechanism back and forth along the line so the tanks can be filled. Okay. And a fuel tank has a get fuel level. Okay, you know that anything's a fuel tank, we can call that. Okay. Now, all right, a fuel depot keeps track of the fuel tanks and the robot. The following figure represents a tank and the robot. The robot indicated by the arrow is currently at index 2 and is facing to the right. the state of the robot includes the index and the direction which it is facing. All right. This information is specified in the fuel robot. I'll just call it class. Interface is something we would have done if we did, a little bit further. That's okay. So just imagine it says class here. So there's get current index. So we can get the current index of the robot. We can get is facing right. We can get change direction. And we can tell it to move forward a certain number of spots. Okay. So a fuel depot is shown in this class here. It has a filler robot. The robot's named filler. It has a list of fuel tanks called tanks. There are two methods that we're going to write. I can see implemented in part A, implemented in B. Okay, and here it says, they want us to write next tank to fill method that's going to return the index of the next tank to be filled. The index for the next tank to be filled is determined according to the following rules. Return the index of the tank with the lowest fuel level that is less than or equal to a given threshold. If there's more than one fuel tank with the same lowest fuel level, any of their index can be returned. If there are new tanks with a fuel level less than or equal to the threshold, return the robot's current index. So if they gave us a threshold of 50, okay, well, this is the lowest, this is the lowest. It could return 0 or 6. If it gave us 15, okay, it returns the same place that we're on. There are no tanks with something less than 15, so it just returns where we are. Got it? So in your worksheet, I'm going to have you do this one. So public int next tank to fill int threshold. You got that all right? Does this make some sense? So I'd like you to try to write that right now. Where were we? Add on.
Wait, so would I just return which ones it would fill, or like do I have to like move it there?
You're not going to move it. No, you're just going to return which one they should fill. So right in here. So the whole idea, you're going through your tanks, right? And for any tank, you can say, sorry, I'm going too fast there. Any tank, you can say get fuel level, right? So you're going to go through all of the tanks, finding the one with the lowest fuel level, right? And if it is less than your threshold, you return that tank location. Otherwise, you return where you are now. How do you know where you are now? Well, a robot, you can, for the robot's name is filler. We can say filler, get your current index.
Wait, can you repeat that last?
Yeah. So first thing to do is go through tanks, find the tank that has the lowest fuel level, right? And for any tank, I can say, hey, get fuel level, right? So it's going to find the one with the lowest. Once it finds it, it's going to see, hey, is it less than threshold? If it's less than threshold, return it. Otherwise, return where we are now, where the robot is now, which we can just say, the robot's name is filler. So we'll just say filler.getCurrentIndex. All right. Give that a go. I'm going to get ready for my next class. You're right here in next tank to fill. I'll put it up here. Yeah, right here. This is what you're doing. Okay. Tell me if you have questions.
Yeah.
I like what I see. But A is a tank, right? We can't say a tank is bigger than a number.
Oh yeah.
So it's A dot.
Size.
No, look at. So a tank is a fuel tank. You have this method on my. You see on the screen.
Yeah.
So we'll call that method. But you're doing well. And I'm just gonna get some food. I'll be back in a minute. Keep working on it. That last line is not necessary, right? But doesn't hurt. But if concurs, if is true, else change direction and then move forward. I almost think, yeah, your mic is hard to hear. So if facing right is true, really, either way, you're gonna move forward. So I would say, I would write it like this. So if it equals false, then change direction. Yeah, totally right idea. You did a nice job on this. Either way, you move forward. Else, if it is less, if it's facing right, you get the idea, right? Because either way, once you change direction, you still have to move forward. And I don't even like, this is totally unnecessary. So that's the idea. Nice job, Gianni. Let's meet again at 3 tomorrow, okay? And I'll give you credit for this, and let's work on the test tomorrow at 3, okay? Or you can try on your own as well. Sound good? All right. I got to get ready for my next class. Hope you have a nice day. We'll talk to you later.